A shocking letter from a former Daystar employee has surfaced, painting a disturbing picture of what allegedly went on behind the scenes at one of the largest Christian television networks in the world. The letter, written by someone who worked closely with Rachel Lamb in 2017, describes a toxic work environment filled with manipulation, fear, and even substance abuse, and a drug addict. According to the whistleblower, Rachel Lamb, who has long been positioned as a rising leader within the Daystar network, created an atmosphere where employees lived in constant fear. Those who didn't fall in line with her demands quickly became targets.
So, an anonymous source from Daystar. I worked at Daystar Television Network in 2017, closely interacting with Rachel Lamb, Joni Lamb, Marcus Lamb, and Joshua Wood. During my time there, I directly reported to Rachel Lamb, and I had the opportunity to observe their personalities and the inner workings of the network. Rachel Lamb at that time was heavily medicated on prescription pills. I often had to work overtime to cover for her as she struggled to stay focused or complete tasks due to her state. She was demanding, cruel, and manipulative, creating an environment of fear. Her behavior was harsh towards others, and if someone didn't fall in line, they quickly became her enemy. She seemed to have a particular animosity towards Jonathan, her brother, from the moment I met her, and likely even longer. She made it clear that she saw herself as the favorite child and made sure her siblings knew it. I witnessed the marketing and film departments react to her with fear. People would literally avoid her, closing doors or pretending to be busy if they heard her voice in the hallway. I saw how Rachel pushed herself to work relentlessly to prove to her father that she was the next in line to lead the network.
The former employee claims that Rachel was often heavily medicated on prescription drugs, making it difficult for her to focus or complete her tasks. As a result, other staff members had to constantly cover for her. The whistleblower, who reported directly to Rachel, described her as demanding, cruel, and manipulative. She allegedly used her position to intimidate those around her. Employees would reportedly avoid her in the hallways, closing doors, or pretending to be busy whenever they heard her voice. This kind of behavior, according to the letter, created a workplace culture that was far from the Christian values Daystar publicly promotes. One of the most troubling claims in the letter is the alleged widespread use of drugs and alcohol among Daystar staff during work hours. The former employee claims that many people in the film and marketing departments would regularly smoke marijuana and drink during lunch breaks. This reportedly became so common that when rumors began spreading and Joni Lamb ordered drug testing, some employees even shaved their bodies in an attempt to avoid detection. The whistleblower also shared personal experiences of Rachel's controlling behavior. In one incident, the employee requested not to fly back on the private jet with the film crew because of a pre-approved shoot in Colorado. According to the letter, Rachel threatened her job over this request and forced her to fly back on the jet anyway. The employee was then left to rush and catch a commercial flight to make it to her next assignment on time.
Her clear substance use and manipulative behavior. I personally experienced Rachel's cruelty when I requested not to fly back with the film crew on the private jet due to a pre-approved shoot in Colorado. She threatened my job over this request, and I was left to fly back on the jet with her, Joshua, Rose Howard, Rachel's close friend and senior producer for Joni's show, and the rest of the crew. Afterward, I had to rush to catch a commercial flight to fulfill my next assignment, and this was one of many instances where Rachel's temper and controlling attitude created a hostile and uncomfortable work environment.
Another disturbing allegation involves Rachel openly bragging about her personal life in inappropriate ways. The whistleblower claims that Rachel would share details about her past drug use and even her sexual history in an attempt to impress others or assert dominance. The former employee described Rachel's behavior as fake and off-putting, saying it created an uncomfortable and unprofessional environment.
On occasion, Rachel went to great lengths to impress me, even offering to show me houses in an attempt to make herself appear cool or relatable. Despite my recent arrival from LA, she bragged about her past drug use and even made inappropriate remarks about her sexual history. I found her persona fake and off-putting, and it made me uncomfortable to witness her boasting about such personal matters.
The letter also raises serious questions about how ministry resources were being used. The whistleblower claims they were asked to work on redesigning Rachel's personal home and organizing family photo shoots, tasks that felt like a misuse of company time and resources. Even more concerning is the description of Rebecca Lamb's bridal shower, which the whistleblower says was actually a lavish lingerie party. According to the letter, the event, which reportedly cost around $200,000, was largely funded through vendors offering their services for free in exchange for exposure on Daystar's platform.
A number of disturbing practices at Daystar, such as how the company used donations for personal gain and spent large amounts of money on production. However, they frequently returned purchased items such as decor from stores like Home Goods and Target, often requiring employees to purchase these items with their own money and reimbursing them later. This was just one example of the way Daystar seemed to prioritize appearances over ethical behavior. In addition, I worked on redesigning Rachel's brand new home and organized her family's photo shoots, which felt like a misuse of company resources. One particularly troubling event I was involved in was Rebecca Lamb's bridal shower, which Rachel insisted should remain hidden from the network. The event, which was actually a lingerie party, was later aired on Daystar after significant edits were made. The entire event should have cost upwards of $200,000, but instead it was underwritten by vendors offering their services for free in exchange for exposure, a tactic that seemed to be used frequently.
The whistleblower also points to Joni Lamb's role in the toxic culture. They describe Joni as a master manipulator who used intimidation to control those around her. In one conversation, Joni allegedly revealed personal details about her daughter's lives, including their alleged drug use, in what appeared to be an attempt to throw them under the bus and maintain control.
I once called into Joni's office where she tried to intimidate me. During that conversation, she revealed details about her daughter's personal lives, including their drug use, which felt deeply inappropriate and uncomfortable. As for Joni herself, she was a master manipulator, using intimidation to control the people around her. She attempted to throw her daughters under the bus in an effort to assert control. On one occasion, after I had styled Marcus Lamb for a headshot shoot, Joni seemed threatened and told me in detail about her daughter's issues. It was evident that she was trying to gain an upper hand, especially after Marcus's past infidelities.
Another key figure mentioned in the letter is Rose Howard, a senior producer who worked closely with Rachel. The whistleblower describes Rose as a gatekeeper who was fiercely loyal to Rachel, even when it meant turning a blind eye to unethical behavior. However, their relationship eventually fractured, and Rose Howard is no longer at Daystar. She now works at CBN. The letter also mentions that Jonathan and Susie Lamb were often caught in the middle of the family tension. According to the whistleblower, they were quieter and tried to stay out of the drama, but still faced significant pressure within the toxic environment.
Jonathan and Susie Lamb appeared to be more kind and quieter, often caught in the middle of the family's dysfunction. They were always under a great deal of pressure, and I felt that they were unfairly targeted. While I never got a sense that Joshua Wood was involved in any misconduct, I did notice that he had become more silent and absent from social media, which made me question what may have been happening behind the scenes. The person I would label as gatekeeper within the company is Rose Howard, who was a senior producer for Joni's shows and worked closely with Rachel. She was completely loyal to Rachel, even at the cost of her own integrity. Rose and Rachel are no longer friends, and Rose now works at CBN, a change that seems to indicate she ultimately chose a side. In conclusion, my time at Daystar left me with deep concerns about the leadership, the manipulation, and the unethical practices that were rampant throughout the company. The Lamb family, particularly Rachel and Joni, created an environment that was toxic and often cruel. Jonathan, Susie, and Rebecca were caught in the middle of these dynamics, and I truly feel they were unfairly targeted. I walked away from my time there feeling disgusted by the culture and tactics that were used to control and intimidate those around them. I have attached a few photos from my time there. I do have more to pull if needed. Thank you for your patience in getting this to you. Happy holidays. And this was her report. I want to say, leading into this, that the problem that we have is that the picture painted on Daystar of this family is not at all the picture behind the scenes. I actually have pages and pages from people reporting in their observance of how the Lamb family behaved. And one of the things that has come to light is that the pattern of lying has been a pattern that goes back many, many years.
These allegations, if true, paint a very different picture from the polished image Daystar presents to the public. A ministry that claims to uphold Christian values appears, according to this former employee, to have operated with manipulation, substance abuse, and fear-based leadership at its core. This is not the first time serious concerns have been raised about the culture inside Daystar. Over the past few years, multiple former employees and insiders have come forward with troubling accounts. The pattern that continues to emerge is one of control, favoritism, and a lack of accountability at the highest levels. When those in leadership positions within a Christian organization allegedly struggle with substance abuse, manipulation, and unethical behavior, it raises serious questions about how they can effectively lead a ministry that claims to represent faith and family values. As viewers and supporters, we have every right to ask hard questions. Ministries that receive donations from thousands of people carry a responsibility to operate with integrity, not just in front of the camera, but behind the scenes as well. When former employees feel the need to come forward with stories of fear, manipulation, and misconduct, it cannot be ignored. Rachel Lamb has long been presented as a key figure and future leader at Daystar. But if these claims are accurate, they reveal a very different side of her leadership. Right? You see, one marked by control, entitlement, and a toxic work environment. The people of God are speaking, former employees are coming forward, and the stories they are telling paint a picture that is very different from the one shown on television. What do you think about these allegations? Do you believe Daystar needs to address these concerns publicly? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want to stay updated on this story. We will continue to follow it and bring you the truth as more information comes out. Thanks for watching. God bless you.